फर्क नहीं पड़ता। Most beautiful and most cutest. You are not coming. Now we are going to discuss about opinions. Today I'll discuss some opinions. Yeah. First editorial is Times of India, portfolios and people. The question most loudly raised by Modi returning to office without a majority, how he will run a coalition government. But the other takeaway of the Lok Sabha 2024 verdict is arguably even more significant. Governance matters and voters reject political branding. That is out of whack. Means government don't want to go to the political branding, okay, with reality. It is through both these lenses that the allocation of portfolio for the Modi-led NDA government should be assessed. It will be assessed. So, home, defense, finance, foreign affairs, transport, highway, there have been no reshuffling in these top cabinet jobs. So, there will be no reshuffling. Where not reshuffling? Home, defense, finance, foreign affairs, road transport, and highway. Endless speculation about Shah being downsized or Sitharaman getting replaced has proved wide of the mark. The message is that, however, others may read the election result as a mandate for change. BJP and Modi are still solidly occupying the government of India driving seat. Who is getting the solidly occupying seat? That is BJP and Modi. But these Modi 2.0 minister must refresh their toolkit in response to all the distress that surfaced in Lok Sabha election. Okay, so from Agniveers to self-employed anxiety. Before that, that was the policy Agniveers to self-employed anxiety. There's unemployment in the India. So now. Eknath Shinde Sena, which won 7 constituencies, scramble of allies. There's a problem, scramble of allies. Like Eknath Shinde Sena, which won 7 constituencies, not pleased with only a junior ministership. Its MP had drawn comparison with the allocation of cabinet but to other allies. Manji was made union MSME minister with just 1 seat in Bihar. Okay, and LJP Chirag Paswan with 5 seats in Union Sports. So Manji was with 1 seat and Chirag Paswan was with 5 seats in sports. JDS has 2 berths and SDK has got the heavyweight steel ministry. Now there is a line of trust. And the full form you just see in full form in that list I sent yesterday. Line of trust. Rijiju, who was removed as law minister. So Kiran Rijiju, before he was a law minister. Now after protected tensions with the judiciary has now been handled the parliamentary affair portfolio. Rijiju, yes, he should contribute to the coalition management. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who could have headed to retirement after being removed as a MP CM, has 2 ministry, agriculture and rural development. Okay, so he given the agriculture and rural development. Not only did the farmer distress take a toll on BJP across many states, the first file Modi has signed after becoming a third term PM relate to the farmer welfare scheme. Chauhan walked into a job with high stake for India and their government. But even those who considered continuity a necessary condition for stability must admit that it is not sufficient by itself. This does not merely refer to allies who look restless with their 11 ministerial berths. It's also about all the socio-economic factors contributed to BJP dropping the 63 seats this time. So because of the factors was contributed, that's why we are dropping 63 seats in BJP. About now, macro numbers actually impact live reality, income, consumption, healthcare act. It is at this level that the new Council of Ministry must deliver. So this was first opinion of portfolio and people. Now second opinion I'm going to discuss, that is reviewing reviewer. This is Sheena Antony. How BJP survey Karnataka? No, Nirmala's to-do list. Yeah, this is Nirmala's to-do list. That is Dharmkirti Joshi. Okay, so Dharmkirti Joshi written this. Back is Finance Minister Sitaraman. New challenges include economic cost of climate change, low job creation and tepid private investment. So the new NDA government has been formed on the back of largely healthy macroeconomic. Nirmala Sitharaman returned as a finance minister. Last fiscal growth came in at higher than expected 8.2%. That is higher than before. And yet CPI based inflation has been assigned gradually. That is also assigning gradually. CPI based inflation, and we are talking about growth came 8.2 expected. Okay, now what is next? That is one topic. Yeah, and yet healthy balance sheet of corporate houses and banks means both lender and borrower are equipped to support India's growth journey. And the infra-led pickup in the private sector investment cycle is engendering logistically improvement and efficiency that should raise our growth potential. India's current account deficit narrow and foreign exchange reserve are healthy, which led to the good cushion against external shocks. So we have the positive sign that current account deficit is narrowed down and foreign exchange reserves are very healthy, and growth potential is also good, efficiency and logistic improvements are there. So these are the positive sides of India. Safety not first. That is a editorial. Yet another Delhi fire underlying no lesson are being learnt. There is a Delhi fire, but we didn't learn any lesson from that. Regulation was up in smoke. On Saturday morning, there was a yet another fire in Delhi. This time it was at the food processing unit in the Narela and left 3 workers dead. The seemingly endless chain of such tragedies underline the carelessness with which work safety is treated in India. Statistics also state that no lesson are learned from such incidents. Fire have been reported from many 194 factories in the capital in the first 5 months. Upon India problem. Unfortunately, such incidents occur even in the more industrialized western and southern part of the country with a larger organized sector. Boiler explosion at the chemical unit of Maharashtra Thane district killed 8 workers. In Tamil Nadu, Virudhunagar district fire incident in the firework unit killed 8 workers in the May. Migrant was sufferer. Most often that not, it is migrant worker who end up as a victim of such horrific and completely avoidable accidents. Okay, and inhuman unsafe conditions are there in the working condition, as this been reported from the Narela. And implementation of the rule key. Western Europe faced up to underbelly of capitalism as long back as the 19th century. India is running too far behind. It must regulate the condition under which labor work is factory and other enterprises very strictly. And regulation does not imply merely laying down rules, but their proper implementation should be there. What regulations we are given, there should be a proper implementation. As things stand, grazing the palm of visiting government official is enough for it to business as usual at commercial establishment in urban areas. So that is the biggest problem we are facing. Now next one is Ravi Venkatesan, that is the article, founder of Global Alliance for the Mass Enterprises Entrepreneurship Game. Pundits are going to be busy analyzing the message from the election for a while, but it is already apparent that economic distress and lack of job are critical issue. Young India wants job more than temples. India has had a brewing job crisis for the last 15 years. It is a wicked problem that manifests in all sort of statistics, particularly our low workforce, 49% only. And the data also shows good work particularly hit young people, 80% of the unemployed below 30, women and graduates. The last is particularly shocking. For most of us, a good education was the passport of the poverty into the middle or affluent classes. Now a young person with a college degree is 9 times as likely to be unemployed as her illiterate counterpart according to an ILO report. Okay, that is 9 times. And this indicates both the quality of the degrees as well as the low end nature of work that is available. And what has changed recently is that this is no longer a lower middle class problem. This year 35% of IITian graduates, 20% of IIM are still looking for job, and the problem now affects elites too, and that may be good news. It can no longer be ignored or wished away. Incidentally, this appears to be a global issue affecting US Computer Science and Harvard Business School. One reason why we have such major problem, so our economic thinking is still very elitist. Affluent India, our media and policymakers are obsessed with catching up with the US and China in GDP terms without care for other indicator of broad-based well-being. We are captivated by big companies that can compete globally like the Tata Group, Reliance, Infosys. In entrepreneurship, we celebrate unicorn, not the million of mundane small businesses that create 60% of all employment. And to incentive manufacturing, we dream up production link incentive scheme to bring iPhone assembly or semiconductor packaging rather than seek grubby labor intensive companies that make apparel, toys, shoes or all sort of households. So we are just 100 big companies. And Nobel winning economist Edmund Phelps, who examined the economic rise of England, then America and later China in a book titled Mass Flourishing, How Grassroots Innovation Created Jobs, Challenges and Changes, that is from the economist Edmund Phelps, point out that in this country's prosperity was defined by the broad sense of flourishing. This flourishing included meaningful work, self-expression and personal growth for a large portion of the change in the societal value that fueled the widespread innovation and entrepreneurship at the grassroots level, and meaning many people, not just a few famous ones, were coming up with the new ideas. Such widespread ideas, tinkering and entrepreneurship led to period of economic and personal prosperity, mass flourishing. So new gambit and inclusive grassroots movement in chess have given the funnel of talent. A similar campaign is need to entrepreneurship. So India has witnessed such a flourishing sports or success first in cricket and more recently chess is because these sports have become dramatically more inclusive. Thereby drawing in the massive talent, chess is growing at the grassroots across the country and is now included in the school curriculum in Tamil Nadu and Gujarat also. Chess clubs and tournaments are pervasive, creating a movement just like a cricket, and this democratization met the fast-growing funnel for talent, with at least million people playing local tournaments across the country, including Uber and auto driver and a construction worker who sign up for the free entry tournaments. Prize money and the sponsorship thought is still a trickle are growing fast. As a result, India has 73 grandmaster now, and up to from 20 in 2007 and 7 player rank among the top 100 in the world. So over success in chess is great player. This is a new article, I think. This is lesson from chess. Okay, and that was the Indian economy that was finished up as I discussed before. So now this was about the chess. Schooled in the entrepreneurship, we'll discuss later. Okay, we can discuss this also. why we need the entrepreneurship. Actually, that was attached to that article, lesson from chess, that is in that article. And now that is next topic is, for this not only must entrepreneurship be a mandatory part of the curriculum, we also need thousands of venture of club incubators accelerated in school, colleges, IITs. District competitors like Shark Tank are highly effective in inspiring your entrepreneurs. The key is to build a pyramid of competition that build a huge funnel of entrepreneurial talent that can see opportunity in every problem. India innovation and economic potential cannot be unlocked by a small elite. We need imagine instead a future where every small town and city feel like a Bangalore, buzzing with innovation, dreaming with opportunity, and alive with the entrepreneurship spirit of our young people. So we need this kind of spirit to be improved ourselves.